Welcome to another episode of Deep True Crime. I'm Manny Rodriguez. In today's episode, we are continuing the coverage of Lizbeth Medina, Edna, Texas teenager who was tragically murdered in her home. Her mom even says no one should find their child like this. She said, "I know there's no laced drugs involved, nothing like that. That no mother should see this." And so we're diving into the newest update about the person of interest in the tragic death of the Texas cheerleader. Because let me tell you, it has been heartbreaking news that has shaken the community of Edna, Texas, as Texas police have released chilling images of a person of interest that is linked to the mysterious death of the devastating death of the 16-year-old cheerleader, Lizbeth Medina. Rest in peace, Lizbeth Medina. And so the police, myself, everyone, we urgently seek your assistance in spreading the awareness of this case, because truth is, very little media attention is going to this right now. And now we have some images of a person of interest who was seen in the area. So we're going to dive into what we know. But there's the FBI's involved, the local police are involved. This cannot go unsolved. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Lizbeth Medina's body was discovered by her mother on Tuesday of this past week in her apartment in Edna, Texas. And now they believe they have a suspect that they are searching for. Right now, he's just considered a person of interest, but we have some information on this case because at least they are one step further today than they were just earlier this week when this happened. And you knew that there would be something behind the scenes that says there's going to be more information that comes out in the mystery death of this teenager. Because Lizbeth Medina, only 16 years old, she was a cheerleader at her high school. And the morning of, there was a parade, a Christmas parade that she did not show up to, and her mother became very, very scared. She's like, "Where is my daughter? This is odd. This is not like my daughter. She is dependable. She can always be there," and she was expected. So when she wasn't there with her cheerleading sisters, her mom got very worried. And so now surveillance photos that have been released by the Edna police show that the suspect is wearing distinctive black clothing. And so they're trying to figure out what could have possibly happened. And this person is said to be in the area of this. But outside of that, they don't really know that much more. And what we do continue to find out is that she was found by her mother in the most horrific way known that could possibly happen. And so through this, one of the things that police are trying to figure out is how in the world could anyone have done this? Now, they're saying that the suspect would have been wearing this shirt here. Okay, so they're believing that the suspect or the person of interest right now, he is just a person of interest. But we don't know outside of that. They're not going to share more than that, simply because they have to protect the integrity of the case. If they give away way too much, that leaves different things open. And so there is images of a person who was running in the area. And Surveillance photos that were released by the Edna police show that the suspect was wearing this distinctive black clothing, and he is also believed to have been driving this car. Okay? Now, this is a Ford Taurus. Not exactly sure on the year of this. They believe somewhere around 2010, somewhere along those lines. And so the search for the man comes following the death of Lizbeth Medina. Again, she was found dead in a bathtub in her home, which Edna is a very small town outside of Houston, by her mother. Her own mother found her in the bathtub. And so as of this time, very few details have been released about the investigation into her death. Although police are approaching this, they're approaching the investigation as a possible capital murder. Right out of the gate, that was the first thing that was said to have believed to have happened to her. They believe this is a capital murder. Someone did this to her, which means that the perpetrator would be eligible for the death penalty. And so this heartbroken mom, she wants answers, obviously, right? She wants to know who could do this to her poor little young child. And so this is her mother seen with her in this image. And Jacqueline Medina is the one that found her. But outside of that, we don't have many more details. Little by little, they're going to be dropping little crumbs because they're going to be looking all over for this guy. And so the fact that they're approaching this as a possible capital murder, you know they're going to be keeping their lips tight throughout this. They cannot give much. But the heartbroken mom and her daughter were supposed to be in a Christmas parade with her cheer team on Tuesday. And so the mom said, I was going to be there to support, and the daughter was supposed to be in the parade with her cheer team, but she never showed up. And so the mom began to get really worried. This is not like Lizbeth to not show up for a very important event. And so that's what would lead her mom, Jacqueline Medina, to go back to the apartment and say, "Where is my daughter? She was getting ready. She should be here." By all accounts, by everything that they went through that morning of, she should have been there at that time that she was expecting. And so throughout that, they're like, okay, her mom began to get really worried. And throughout this is like, okay, is there a threat to the community? Now, the police department chief, Rick Boone, he said in a post on social media, "We understand the community wants information in regards to the case. However, we have to keep the integrity of the investigation our number one priority," which goes back to they have to keep this, by all accounts, as quiet as possible. Because again, if they put too much information out there, it could literally mess up the case. If they were to say, "By all accounts, we know that this guy by this name, who we have not spoken to, but he is the guilty party," it could ruin things. And so they're not going to tell us. So the Edna police chief, he says, we understand, but we have to keep the integrity of this investigation their number one priority. He also says, "We also understand the community is concerned about the individual still being on the loose." And yeah, of course, because they don't know at this time. They're not sharing. Is this an isolated incident? Or is this someone who was burglarized in the area? We don't know. But I guarantee you, they got more than they're sharing with us. Right now, they need to talk to him before they put it all out on the table as to what they have. But we do know that the Edna Police Department, the Texas Department of Public Safety, and the Texas Ranger Division, they're all actively investigating Lizbeth's death. And I kind of misspoke earlier because I did say that I believe the FBI were involved, but I don't think that I shared that correctly. So my apologies. I thought they were, but my apologies on that. But according to a press release, officers, they were dispatched to the Cottonwood Apartments around 6:57 p.m. on Tuesday of this past week. And so When they got there, they knew right away that the juvenile was deceased. That was according to the press release. And as Jacqueline, her mom, shared, it was the most horrible way a mother could find her child. She was murdered in cold blood. Yes, that is what she is saying. Again, the police are not sharing, but the person who came upon her is saying that she was murdered in the worst way. Now, what we do know is they're not going to share much information outside of that. But Lizbeth was supposed to be with her cheer team that morning. And Jacqueline, the mom, said it should have been a great day because she was involved in a Christmas parade. She was going to be with the cheer squad. I lost it. She was my world, my everything. Everything I do was for her. Someone dared to go in and just rip my daughter away from me. It just kills me. That's what her mom has shared. And she says, I just want answers to why they would do this to an amazing little girl who would never hurt anyone, wouldn't dare to hurt anyone. Now, Edna, Texas, this is a small community, which also makes this like, who could have done this? Did the perpetrator know her? Did they know the family? Now, what we don't know is after these images have been released, has anyone identified them? Because this person, I can tell you from this image, this person looks like someone that can be identified. When you look at this shirt, who was wearing this sweatshirt on that Tuesday, right? Who was wearing this on that Tuesday? Because truth is, someone knows this perp. Someone knows him. And when you think about it, let's go back to December 5th, the Tuesday that she was found. Okay, this person with this sweater on did come across somebody, did talk to someone. Okay, now granted, this happened in the early hours because again, she was supposed to be at a parade. So this small community of Edna, Texas, only about 6,000 people live there. This is about less than 100 miles from Houston, you know? And so Jacqueline, the mom, she says that we've received a lot of support and she is thanking everyone. There was even a tribute on the football field. Again, she was a cheerleader, right? And her mom says she was a very good girl. And recently I've received messages from hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people. And it amazes me because I didn't know how much she was loved by everybody else. Emergency medical services, when they arrived at the scene, they did attempt to revive Lizbeth, but they were unsuccessful. And it is not yet known how exactly she was murdered. But someone did post to Facebook about her death, and they say that she was brutally murdered in her own home, which we would later find out she was found in the bathtub. That is what we are finding out. And you know, I always try to say take everything with a grain of salt because you never know what kind of little misinformation comes out. I have been guilty of a lot of media sharing something as recent as the young lady that was said to have been found in a barrel. And we later find out that it wasn't a barrel. It was a homemade box, not a cardboard box, a wooden box that she was kept in. So, you know, I always try to take everything with a grain of salt. This is the third video in this series that we've been following the Lizbeth Medina story. So you can go back just a few videos. We've been covering this all week because number one, this story is not getting a lot of attention. I don't understand why. I know a lot of true crime creators want to jump on the ones that are very well in the news to help. I get all that. But this young girl was found in her apartment home in the bathtub. Okay, 16 years old. Outside of that, we don't know much. But I bet you, I'm just guessing, I bet you by the images that we've shared today, someone knows something. And that is probably a fair statement, because there are multiple people that, they have to recognize this image right here, right? Okay, it's a little stilly, grainy, and I get that, but someone saw them with this sweater on that day. And we know that she was her life was brutally taken in her own home. And Lizbeth, who also went by Liz, she was a junior at the Edna High School. Okay, she was a junior at the Edna High School, and she planned to attend Arlington University in order to study nursing. Her heart is all about giving. And, a loved one even posted on Facebook, she was a beautiful and talented girl, full of life and many dreams. And one of the things that they're looking for is this car here. If you know anyone that could be driving this car that might have been wearing that hoodie that day of, you're asked to please share whatever you may know. This is a silver Ford Taurus, which was caught on surveillance camera. You are actually looking at the actual vehicle. I'm not 100% sure what year. That could be like 2010, 2012, something along those lines. But if you remember anyone with this type of car that day, you are asked to please share any information that you might have. And so when we find out that, her mom finds her in the bathtub, I don't recall reporting on that. So I'm finding out about that at, a little later after reporting on it twice. Okay. Again, normally at the beginning you hear little by little and then things keep coming out. But now we want to figure out who's this mystery man, right? Who's the mystery man behind this? And so now we're going to wait to find. But the police in the small town of Edna, Texas, they say that this unidentified man has a tattoo behind his ear, and he may have something to do with it or know something about the savage murder of the 16-year-old cheerleader in her own home on Tuesday, December 5th. Now, this is just hours before she was due to appear with her cheer squad in the town's Christmas parade. And the community now, they want answers along with Jacqueline, Medina's mom. And everyone is asking, what do we know about this? Okay? Because what we don't know is who, what we don't know is why. But I guarantee you they got more answers than we know about at this time. That is just my guess, because truth is we want to know more. But here, I'm bringing up the statement from the police, but what we want to know is why. Okay, who could savagely take this 16-year-old just like that? Just like that. Who could do that to this wonderful girl? So on the, let's bring this up here, and you can see that, let's see, yep. You can see that they're asking, for any help, any information that you might have. And here is a possible vehicle and the suspect that's involved, which I shared all of these images with you already so far. But Edna police are seeking any information regarding the investigation involving Lizbeth Medina, also known as Liz. Rest in peace, Liz, taken from this world way too soon. And so preliminary investigations have revealed that a person of interest and an associate vehicle. So this vehicle, they say, are associated. The male subject shown below may possibly have a tattoo located behind his right ear and wearing a black Volcom hooded sweatshirt. And he was seen driving a silver Ford Taurus. And they're sharing that the year model ranging from 2010 to 2018. And the police, they say that we understand the photographs are not of the best quality and are working to obtain any additional information to identify the person of interest. And here's the other truth is that we know that there's cameras all over. This is just what they're sharing with us now. I truly believe there's going to be a little more information from this. That's just my guess at this time. And so they're asking if you have any information, contact Edna Police at that number 361-782-6522 or even contact Crime Stoppers at 361-552-CASH if you would like to remain anonymous. Now, they do say if you provide any information leading to an arrest, you may even earn an award up to $5,000. My guess is that might continue to grow as less and less answers are coming through. But my thought process is maybe they should increase that reward because someone knows something. Is that not a fair statement? Someone knows something. And so at least they have a person of interest, someone that they can at least follow. And this is actual surveillance photos. And just like this was found, there's more video footage out there. I can guarantee you that is how it always is, isn't it? And so the police are urging residents to be vigilant and acknowledging community concerns about, whether the individual still being on the loose is a danger to the community. And then that's when, that was at the beginning. That's when they announced, okay, here is some possible vehicle and suspect involved. And so they released these videos and they didn't release any videos. Sorry. The possible vehicle and the images of the possible suspect, or at least a person of, at least a person of interest. But here's the thing. We don't know what has led investigators to this. We don't know where this was taken. I'm guessing it wasn't far if they're like, okay, we found this person running in this area somewhere along the lines. And by both images that you just saw, let me bring that back up. By both images, by looking at it, you can see that he's running in both of them. It doesn't matter. But he's running in both of those images. And so here's one of those. He looks like he's running. And so with that, it's like, why was he running? He could be jogging, right? He could be jogging. He's got jeans on, it looks like. And I can tell you, I've jogged plenty of times with jeans on, so I'm definitely not gonna say he's got jeans on and a sweatshirt. My jogs are, I just want some exercise, so I'm not gonna say because he was jogging he looks like he's a person of interest. I feel like they're gonna have a little more than that. But this young girl was someone who was outgoing. She was confident. She was someone willing to take off her shirt to give it to people, to give it to someone else. She was someone that was always there. She was someone who truly cared about her community. She cared about people. She cared about you. She would have cared about you if she knew you. And this is all that I'm learning about her. Not because I knew her, because by all accounts, this girl truly cared about others. My friends, at the end of the day, my goal is to be a voice for the victim, because Lizbeth did not deserve this. And this story deserves more attention. Okay? I don't know where, sometimes I've noticed that, some of these, how do people decide what they're going to focus their attention on to help get, viewership, to know what's going on here? I noticed that different races may play a role. Like, it seems like this one gets a lot more attention than this one, and this one is it's a common, like, why is this one getting so much attention, but more of these don't get more attention? I'm not saying any particular race. I just see, like, it almost seems like this one is flourishing while this one I haven't even heard of until now. So I don't understand that, because generally I'm gonna get my information from the media. I'm not in Edna, Texas. I'm not gonna get it all from the local news, right? But generally that's kind of where it starts, the local news, and then it picks up on all the other media stuff because of partnerships and different things. But Lizbeth, 16 years old, from Edna, Texas, she deserves to hear that her story gets told, because this person of interest needs to be found and needs to at least be questioned, and then we can go from there. Maybe there'll be an arrest soon. We don't know. I think I reported on this and said we probably will find out something on Monday, or maybe that was, I don't know. Sometimes you do so many of these and you forget which one, but I felt like, there would be something more coming. And then overnight, that's when I saw this, because I felt like maybe it won't be till Monday till we hear about an arrest or something, but we found out a little something sooner. I just want to be a voice for victims just like Lizbeth Medina, taken from this world way too soon. And at the same time, I want to be a voice for you to let you know this is what could go wrong in this crazy world we live in. We have to be alert. We have to be aware. We have to be careful, because we never know when something will go wrong, because truth is, it could go wrong in a matter of minutes. And even though we're alert or super careful, it could still go wrong in a matter of minutes. But I hope that we can be a little prepared, a little bit aware, and not fall asleep on the red flags, to help us be a little more aware. I'm Manny Rodriguez. This has been another episode of Deep True Crime. Until next time, my friends, have a great one. Peace.